thank y'all for being here tonight, but it kind of goes along with what Ito had asked. I know I struggle sometimes with, like, when the Lord tells me to do something, I struggle with immediately being obedient because I'm fearful, right? I don't want to be in front of people. I don't want to do this, Lord, what are other people going to think of me? So when the Lord told you you're going to sing for me, were you immediately obedient, or did you resist a little?
Is this for all of us?
For all of you, yes. And I have another question. Are you guys on Spotify?
I'll start with Spotify one. We have songs on YouTube and then some snippets of songs on Instagram and Facebook. We do have a couple flash drives back there that have our music on already, but we don't have Spotify yet. I'll go first because mine is going to be easy, so I want some people to kind of get into it, hopefully, about how they chose to resist. Mine was an easy yes because I am very selfish in my walk here. I know I don't belong here, so I'm trying to get home. So there are a lot more things in my walk that are easier for me to say yes to. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you something though. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't necessarily like being on stage and people are looking at me. But I love worshiping the Lord. So I can bypass that because I want to worship Him. And I do know honestly that people need it. And so I don't want to withhold from Him by keeping back something that He's given me and told me to do. So for me, it is yes. But there's a lot of people over here that it hasn't been yes for, Amanda. So that's why I wanted to start.
I already knew it was me next after that. So I don't know where I would be if God didn't make Shakia my sister.
Come on. Yeah.
Amen. I do actually. She told me I'd be in hell. She's like, well, if you keep living like this, you go to hell.
I'm gonna give you the context first. We know that the Lord speaks to us to speak to other people. I don't want to encourage anybody to go up to anybody and tell them they're going to hell. Because not everybody is ready to receive that. Not everybody needs to be told that. And we, in the church, we have a lot of people who want to condemn people and tell them they're going to go to hell because they don't like what they're doing. But that's not love. Now, I would tell you, God told me to tell her that, though. He did tell me to tell her she was going to hell. And I'm getting back to that obedience thing. Because in my mind, I was like, I can't tell her that. That's crazy. But I'm going to do it because that's what you told me to do. So I said, God told me to tell you, you're going to go to hell if you don't stop doing what you're doing. And she was like, don't.
She didn't like saved now. So a lot of times I am stubborn in my yes, or I want to just, I'll sing for the parts for you, and I don't want to lead anything, I'll shy back. So with the fear thing that you mentioned, Amanda, I think I know that's a major thing for me. So I'm just continuing to give my yes, whatever it looks like, even if it's a whisper. And I know that He'll continue to bless that. And I do want to also mention that, first of all, Shakia, she's my apostle, okay? And so she doesn't want to give her the title, but it's true. And she will help me, because the reason God said that is because I knew that, but I was still doing what I wanted to do, and I just knew that what was going to happen, and I just chose not to stop what I was doing. But I say all that to say, she's taught me that coming up here and worshiping in front of other people without dealing with my own mess is irresponsible. And I just, because of that, and everybody here, they're my accountability people, which is a hard word I had to learn because I wasn't doing it properly. I was doing it in reverse. I was dumping on people, but now I know, like, if I do this, I'm gonna have to tell them. I don't want to tell them, so it keeps me from doing the things. So anyway, I don't even know if I'm answering the question anymore. I'm gonna pass the mic to the next person.
So when I came back to Christ, He won me with obedience, because the gushiness, I was tired of pity. So the gushiness didn't do it. And having to do it alone, I had to be a big girl. Couldn't rely on my family because that's what I used to put above Him. my family, then my friends, then God. And he was like, nope, it's me. And so there's a push and pull for about a year. You know, go ahead, go Destiny. You know, I need you to go over here and pray for this guy. And then sometimes I didn't. I just prayed from afar. and just step out and actually talk to people at the church, or stay longer. Don't even talk, just stay longer, Des. Turn around. You want to worship me, but you don't want to be here because you're alone. But you said you want to worship. You want to be with me. So you're going to let your praise. I remember, this is a perfect example. I went to the church I'm with now. I went there and, to be real, I am not used to a lot of white people. I am mixed, so I'm not being racist. I'm not used to a lot of white people. And so when I got there, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so many. I didn't know what to do. And so I turned around. I'm all the way in, I'm in Grovetown. I turned around, I was about to go back home, and he was like, really? You scared? You not gonna stay and praise and worship and be in my presence because for why? Why? You know, and I was like, okay. Turned around, came in there scared and continued to worship. And so that right there, I don't know, that right there is kind of like the what's the word? Yeah, the pivot. There you go.
We'll take one more question, I think, but I want to say a couple of things to you, Amanda, and anybody else who needs to hear this. So my first practical response to that would be honest with God about your desire to be disobedient. Because it's okay to not want to do it. That allows you an opportunity to really commune with him and be friends with him. Like, I know you want me to sing in front of these people. I know you want me to speak in front of these people. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So that's the first thing. Like, just be honest with him that you don't want to do it. And then the second thing is like I like to work out. So when you go to the gym, I'm talking about small acts of obedience. I can only use the gym because I don't play sports and stuff. So, I mean, I do it, but not well. I just do what I want. Let's say I have a goal of lifting 95 pounds. I can't just go in there and lift 90 pounds if I don't know how to do it. So you're not going to, like, get guns from going to the gym for the first day. So then you have to slowly, like, increase it. So you start off with 25. You got to kind of build up that act of obedience, and God will meet you there, honor that. And before you know it, it'll be easy to say yes. You won't even think about being disobedient. So I just want to say that, like, be honest with him and then build on it.
Wilderness and glory. And you talk about, like we need to see the whole picture when it comes to Christ and bring our sorrows to. I just wondered, was there something that brought you to a place that you needed to make that song, or if you've been to a place that maybe brought you to your knees, or was a hard time for you? How can you see now that it helped you, and how did you get through it? Is that too much?
No. I'll start with the end of your question and work backwards. So what I'm finding now is, I'm finding that it's beneficial for people just because of what I was saying earlier. Like, I have a lot of compassion for people who don't know just how honest they can be with God. Whether they are looking at him as father in a season, best friend in another season, or brother in another season. And I want you guys to know I did not grow up in a church. I didn't have anybody telling me about the Lord. I was all over the place doing all the things, believing all the things. I was in my hippie season. I was talking about we had a universe, got into some witch stuff. But when I came to him and he introduced himself, I was in the wilderness, I want you to know this. When he called me out by name, he called me away from everybody that I knew and everything that I do. Now I'm backing up now. I have 2 children. My kids have different dads. And I remember there's so many of us, and my mom has a lot of different, there's so many of us and we all have different dads. So when I was little, I was like, I would never be like my mother. I'm not gonna have my kids with a different daddy, you know. And then I woke up one day and I had 2 different kids. I mean, we know there were steps, but I woke up and then I had kids with different daddies. And I was I was tormented by this. I mean, it just happened. We know what happened. I got 2 kids. But there was a point where God, I'm telling you how to get to the wilderness, so I'm working backwards, by the way. I'm also not used to answering questions, so that's why we're doing this. I call myself running. This is how I got to the wilderness. I was so embarrassed. Not because I thought people were going to think one thing or another of me, because I didn't grow up in church. I was embarrassed that I myself made a decision not to be like my mother. And I was in a situation where I was just like my mom. And I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to go, you know. I moved 8 hours later, 8 hours, you know, to another state. I don't know anybody, but I was so embarrassed. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Like, we do crazy stuff, right? I was so embarrassed. And I was there, and somebody told me the same thing God told me to tell my sister, that you're going to go to hell further back, you know, sometime before that. And so in that space, speaking of the wilderness, that's when I learned that all the darkness that I've been in my life prior to, be it my own decision or just being around the wrong people or whatever it looked like, is all of those moments. I had a moment where in that wilderness, I was like, these people say I'm going to go to hell if I don't believe in you. So if you are real, I need you to make yourself real. And I went to the dollar store and I got a KJV Bible. I don't recommend this because I did not understand it. Get yourself an NIV, maybe an NLT, not an APMP. Is that it? How you say it? AMP? Don't start with the Amplified. It's like an AI. It's giving you all the answers. Like, put it in the word. But I got the KJV. And I was reading through it and I was like, this is dumb. This is in my wilderness. This is dumb. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have any family. I didn't know anybody there. This is dumb. You let people name their kids this. We got to know all the tribes. I'm not telling you, I was just going in. It was me and the Holy Spirit. Nobody else. I'm just in my room reading this KJV. That was King of, and then this lady naming her son Ben Ani, son of my sorrow. Like, this is crazy. And then she died. She named him that and died. There was no redemption. Later on, his name was Benjamin. But I'm saying, like, I was really struggling. And I got through the whole Bible. And I'm going to tell you this. I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but we're here. I got to the end of the Bible, and I threw the Bible down. I was like, that was dumb. That was a waste of time. That's how it happened. I read from cover to cover, the KJV. Maybe it would have been different if it was NIV or NLT. But I read KJV. I was like, that was a waste of time. That's dumb. And I started going to that massage jar where I met that lady with the Psalm 23. And people would throw all their stuff on the table, all their woes and their lows. And I was like, I have the remedy for that. The scriptures just start coming up. I didn't even know that they were in there. So they would be talking the things, and I was like, I don't know where you can find this, but we can Google it together. And I would Google the words that would come to my heart, and you start pulling up. And so I started to recognize that he was speaking to me. And then that, I said, I need you to show me, because when I'm talking homeless, go ahead.
Yeah.
I have been through so many things, as we all have.
Right.
Okay? We all have. And I'm stressing this part because I don't want us to make excuses.
Right.
We all have been through something. I've lost a child, I've been divorced, I've been homeless, I've been abused, I've been assaulted. And in that space, when I started recognizing that he was speaking to me, I said, I need you to show me. Because you are real, I need you to show me when you were there.
Wow.
Because it doesn't feel like you were there. I need you to show me. And he did. So I'm thinking because I'm in these dark, broken places that he wasn't there because I don't know him. And then when I got to know him and he showed me, I was like, oh my God.
Amen.
Yep.
And then he tells us that all those things are meant for our good because we love him. So I'm like, I'm going to choose to love you. That's easy. All I got to do is love you. Cool, I love you. So he made it easy in that. But I'm telling you, it's easy now. I had to go through this journey. But in that wilderness, I just got on my face, and I encourage you, if you haven't done this, get on the ground, lay prostrate, like he said, get on your face.
Yeah.
Lord, show me where you were in the brokenness, in the darkness. And some of us grew up in the church. I feel like I'm preaching now, but some of us grew up in the church. I didn't. And then I later found out that people grew up in the church, and they had people in the church telling them they're going to go to hell and sending them away for things they should have been embracing them.
That's right.
That's real.
And sometimes when you're going through stuff, the reality is you don't want to hear somebody speaking scripture to you. You just don't. And that's why the lyrics of that song are, Lord, I know your rod and your staff are there. That's what they taught me in church. I saw it for myself. I know these things are there, but I don't feel like you are. And that's, man, why I said you got to be honest with him when you don't have the desire to do what you want. I don't feel like you are. I don't see that you are. I don't smell you. I don't feel you near to me, Lord. But I know that you're real. So help me connect the disconnect. And so in any season that I'm in the wilderness, and wilderness looks different. We're not going to get into that. Because seasonally it can look different. But in that particular moment, I was like, Lord, I need you to go back. Now that I know you're real, let's go back. Because I was homeless, where were you? I lost my child, where were you? I got divorced, where were you? All these things happened to me, where were you? And just because they happened, it doesn't mean he wasn't there. I just want you guys to know that. Because he showed me where he was, and I was like, whoa. Ooh. Oh, I remember that.